So then I called the bank, and the bank told me that my personal account, as well as the independent Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account, have both been frozen.
Welcome to the Lauren Blackwell channel. It appears that Dr. Umar's alleged grifting, is finally catching up to him. If you guys have not seen the video he posted recently, he posted a video, I believe on Instagram, where he was asking his followers for money because he has lost access to his bank account. That was the clip that I posted at the beginning of this video. The rest of it is going to be at the end of the video. So if you're interested, you can stay tuned and I will post the video at the end. According to him, he lost access to his bank accounts because his accounts are frozen as a result of some external fraudulent activity. He was sure to let us know that the fraudulent activity was coming from outside, not from within, as in not from the owner of the account, which is him. He mentioned his ex-girlfriend, which he accused of stealing from him. According to him, she may have been the one to break into his account to take money out of it. So that is the fraudulent activity that caused his account to be frozen. However, I do not believe that for 1 second. Dr. Umar simply he is not the most straightforward person. I don't want to say that he lies, but he does not exactly get to the truth the way that he should. If you guys remember the issue with his daughter, where his daughter came out and said that she does not have a relationship with Dr. Umar, and Dr. Umar would not just be honest and say exactly what the truth is until she came out with receipts and started to give a lot of details, and that was when Dr. Umar was forced to admit that she was telling the truth. So anyways, he wants us to believe that it is his ex-girlfriend's fraudulent activity that has caused his accounts to be frozen. But I do not believe that, because I have heard many months ago that Dr. Umar is under investigation by the authorities for possible scamming. And I believe it has something to do with the school of his that he has been building for 30 years now, and the school is still not complete. Whenever he's asked about the school, he would say that it is near completion and he just needs to fix this and that and it will be up and running. He has been saying that for years, and that has never happened. Even at the beginning of this year, around January or February, he said he just needed to fix a couple of things and the school should be up by this summer. It is summer. We're almost in August and it'll be fall soon, and the school is still not up and running. He has been collecting money from many different groups of people and individuals about this school, claiming that he needs the funds because he's building it for the community. But I'm starting to think that all the funds that Dr. Umar collects in the name of his school, he is using it to fund his own lifestyle. Because Dr. Umar does not have a job. He does not have a 9-to-5 that any one of us is aware of, unless he has a secret job that he keeps secret from everyone, which I'm not sure why he would do that. But as far as I know, Dr. Umar does not have employment. I don't know if he has ever actually built a career for himself in his field of psychology, besides these interviews and these talks that he gives. And he talks a lot about his school, and it has become his authority on whether or not he should be in charge of a group of people and their resources. But he has placed himself in a position of authority, talking about improvements that need to be made in the Black community and how he will be one of the people spearheading everything. Well, nothing about Dr. Umar proves that he can actually accomplish this or that he's even ready to take on that responsibility, because the one responsibility that he placed on himself, which is this school that is supposed to educate, I believe, young boys, he has not been able to successfully accomplish it. It has been in the works for many years, to the point where it is almost ridiculous to think that that school will almost be built or be completed. I have never heard Dr. Umar talk about how to invest whatever resources he accumulates, or he has never really gone in depth about financial education or talks about how people can manage their investments, their financial investments. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I do not believe that he himself has really invested any of the funds that he has been accumulating. Dr. Umar has been doing a lot of interviews. He's been invited to so many places and he holds talks as well. I don't know if he is paid to host those talks, but he probably is making money from all of these appearances that he has been making. And for him to be in a situation now where just because his 2 bank accounts are frozen, he no longer has access to any money at all, to where he is coming online to beg his supporters for money, that tells me that he knows so little about managing resources that he definitely should not be the one in charge of managing other people's resources or managing resources on behalf of anyone. It is really sad. He looks, like I mentioned earlier, he looks almost homeless in that video, which lets me think he's probably really stressed out about this, and it must have taken a lot for him to come online and ask his followers for money. But that lets me know that he's in a very desperate situation. How he allowed his circumstance to get to this point is something I would never understand. He never should have let it get to this point. But then again, if he really is being investigated by the FBI, like they said, then he has a long road ahead of him, because those accounts may not be unfrozen until the investigation is done. For it to get to the point where his accounts are frozen, it means it is quite serious, and they have been looking into him for a while. This is not like a first step kind of a thing that authorities do when they're looking into a person. It is something they do when they're well into their investigation and they need for certain transactions to be stopped, or they don't want him transferring funds out of it if he becomes aware that he's been investigated that thoroughly. So they would freeze it to keep the activities at a bare minimum or not at all. He really is about to tarnish his own reputation, which I don't even know if that's still possible, because the way that he has been behaving lately, it is almost as if he's unraveling, because he said some really horrible, nasty things about one of his exes that I don't even know if there is a new low that he can sink into. I almost want to say that I feel bad for him, but the way that he treats women, specifically black women, that he claims to be all about protecting and providing for, once you see his true character and his grifting, how much money he has collected from people over the years, it is very difficult to feel bad for him. I don't know if anyone has ever mentioned how much money Dr. Umar has received in the name of this school of his, but if we were to figure out how much money, I'm sure it'll be a whole lot, because he's been at this for years now. And I think it's about time that he stops it and gets a real career. Maybe this will keep him from continuing with his grifting so that he can finally get a new career, because he's getting older and at some point he needs to have a true source of income to fund his lifestyle. And the funds that he gets from his donors should be for the school. Like if he says he wants donations for the school, then it needs to be for the school, not to fund his lifestyle. But it seems like there's a lot of commingling going on in his accounts where he does not have a job, so he is using the donations for his school to fund his lifestyle. At some point, he's going to have to worry about his own retirement, okay, because of his age. He needs to have built a career for himself by now to where he has something built up for his retirement. He cannot grift into his 80s and 90s. That's just not going to work. And at some point, he needs to realize that this school has to be up and running. I don't know if the building is up to code or not, but if it is, it does not take much for him to begin having some sort of educational activity at the school, pending when the rest of the construction is completed, just as long as it is safe for students to be in there. I'm not sure how perfectly he's trying to get the building to be and for the process to be before he begins to admit students. Like, I'm not sure what the holdup is, but I mean, it's ridiculous at this point that the school is not up and running yet. And here he is being investigated allegedly by the FBI, and his grifting is about to come to a screeching halt. Then what is he going to do for money? So to those of you who are still donating to him or are planning to donate to him, I'm not saying don't donate. He gave his information of where you can donate money. You can if you want to. But you need to understand that if you're donating money to him for his personal use, then you should understand that is what you're doing. You're not donating towards the use of the school, because considering the situation that he is in now, where he has no money to take care of himself or his mother, whatever funds you donate will go to his own personal use. His mother is under his care, so that costs money as well. I understand that he hires caretakers for his mother, so that costs money. So he needs money for a lot of things. So for someone to not have regular income and to resort to grifting and begging for money on the internet, he is in a dire situation. He needs to get control of it. And yeah, that's all I have to say on this. If you are interested in the full video of him asking for funds, it'll be right after this clip.
Peace and Pan-Africanism to my New York, my Carolina, my Texas, my Phoenix, my Philly, my Jersey, my Maryland, my Baltimore, my Georgia, my Florida, my Arkansas, Alabama, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City Africans. It's your big brother King Kong. I need y'all to listen up. I got a very important announcement. I'm only going to keep you a few minutes. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. I logged into my account just to check my balance because I haven't done so since I left for South Africa back on July 10th. Only to discover that I could not log into my account. So then I called the bank to find out what was going on. And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. The bank that I've been with since I was a teenager told me they had no record of my account. So then I called the bank. And the bank told me that my personal account, as well as the independent Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account, have both been frozen. Both bank accounts have been frozen. And I was told that there is an investigation into my personal account as well as the school account. I asked them, was this due to suspicion of any fraud on my part? I was told that it was not due to suspicion of any fraud on my part, but I was told that it was due to suspicion of fraudulent activity. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account and the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account in the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access into my personal account and the FDMG account. Brothers and sisters, if you have sent a donation to FDMG, let's give it until the end of the month to see if this gets cleared up. They have given me no definitive timeline as to when their investigation will conclude. They have given me no definitive timeline as to when their investigation will conclude. If you have sent a check or money order donation to FDMG, let's wait until August the 1st, Black August, and see if this situation has gotten cleared up. They told me they sent me a letter to this point on July the 10th, the day that I left for South Africa. I was told that the timeline of suspicious activity was June 25th to July the 10th. I was told that the timeline for suspicious activity was between June 25th, that's when Medea went public. Everybody knows who Medea is. July 25th, that's when Medea went public. July the 10th, that's when I left for South Africa. July the 10th, that's when I left for South Africa. So y'all know I believe Medea and Pastor Bussy were fraudulently trying to get into my account. And if we find out that's the case, they will be sued and possibly arrested, because fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is federal offense. Fraudulent activity on a bank account is a federal offense. Again, June 25th to July 10th is the period of suspicious activity. That is from the time Medea went public and I left for South Africa. Between the time Medea went public and I went for South Africa. So brothers and sisters, if you want to make a donation to FDMG, you must send it to PayPal. Hold off on the checks and money orders until the situation is resolved. Hold off on all FDMG Academy money order and check donations until the situation is resolved. If you want to make a donation to FDMG, send it through PayPal. Right? PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. If you want to make a donation to the school, hold off on checks and money orders until we find out what the hell is going on. The bank is investigating the fraudulent attempts on our account. If I find out Medea and Pastor Bussy had anything to do with this, I was told that they can be arrested for federal offense. Now, with that being said, brothers and sisters, Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal. My personal PayPal account is Umar the Psychologist at yahoo.com. So that's paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist. PayPal.me/UMARTHEPSYCHOLOGIST. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist, or hit my Apple Pay using my cell number 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. I've never asked the people for $1. I have never asked the people for $1 in my life. I've only asked you to donate to the FDMG Academy for Boys. I don't have any sons. I have 2 daughters. So the FDMG campaign is a selfless project, mission, and service to provide our boys with the education that they deserve. But right now, I don't have any money because my account was frozen by my bank because someone has been trying to hack into my account, hack into FDMG Academy account. So the FDMG Academy account is frozen. My personal account is also frozen. That means we're going to lapse on our utility bills. We're going to lapse on our internet bill. We're going to lapse on a lot of our bills at FDMG. The bank is not giving me a timeline as to when this situation is going to be resolved. If I don't have Cash App, nor does FDMG have Cash App. I do not have a Cash App. I only have Apple Pay and PayPal. If you can spare a few dollars, send it to my Apple Pay, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858, or my PayPal, paypal.me/Umar the Psychologist. Although Leo season is off to a rocky start, brothers and sisters, we will overcome. Shout out to all my donors.
That's all I have on Dr. Umar. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next one. Bye, guys.